Ooh, my favorite. Let's get to details. They're like, hiya, you alright? And that's when I'm in the north. I just feel the silence and I will just keep talking. Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I am Yvette. I moved to the UK 2 years ago and I'm documenting my experiences. For today's video, I thought it would be fun to do a Reddit video because, as you know, I haven't been doing anything because of lockdown. Ta-da! However, Reddit still exists, so I thought that'd be a fun way to get back into my British culture and see what the Redditors have to say. So I've actually been saving them because whenever I see one that I think would make for a good video, I always save it so I could discuss it with you guys, because I think it'd be interesting to get foreigners' opinion on British culture. On Ask Reddit, that came up 106 days ago. That's how long I've been saving this one. What's something you want to know about British people? I'm gonna give my opinion as, you know, a non-native Brit, or a non-Brit, not even a native Brit, or a non-Brit, I'm just not British. And then you can give your opinion in the comments as British people if you are, which my analytics tells me most of you are British. So, first question is, does it rain as much as the stereotype says, or is it blown out of proportion? Now, if you've watched my videos, can tell you that I don't think it rains that much. It is currently blue sky. So I just don't think it rains all that much. Everyone always says the UK rains, and I'm like, to be honest, like Amsterdam, Norway, you know, Iceland, they all rain equal to, or if not more, than the UK, but the UK is the one with the reputation. So to this day, I don't know. However, I want a massive acknowledgement that I am saying that as someone who lives in the south of England, I do feel that perhaps, you know, Northern England, Scotland might disagree and think, you know, it does in fact rain horrendous amounts, which I can't disagree. I don't live up there. I can't make that call. But I can tell you, but like, I think sometimes as well, the stereotypes, which I've heard from lots of Brits, is that they don't like being equated with London. Like, you know how some people just think London is everything, which I can understand completely as to why that is false. But, you know, like, often, like, foreigners or Americans or Australians will just say, oh, are you from London? As if that's the country. So if you assume that, then they would assume that London is the rainy one, which it isn't. So you can't have it both ways, is my conclusion. However, the comments disagree. But maybe they're from the north, I don't know. So they say it rains pretty much endlessly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from September to May every year, and then we have some kind of human Death Valley nightmare for 3 months, and then it's back to wearing snorkels and swimming to work. Now, once again, I just think I remember the first year I was here, which obviously my sample size of 2 years is not great, but the first year I was here, I swear it didn't rain from June to August, and like the grass was going yellow, and I was like, this doesn't happen here. I'm back home, back in Australia. What is this? So, it is what it is. I will say it rains a lot in January. Like I just call it the mud season. Like there's just mud everywhere, which might sound weird, but you don't actually, the mud you get here, you don't get in Australia anyway. You might get it elsewhere, but I had to buy wellies just because mud was so bad here. And I've never owned wellies before. So that was my birthday present. My birthday's in December, so it made complete sense. We'll get away from the weather. You know, I could talk about it all day. So I'm an honorary Brit just for my love of weather talk. What we call a cookie, you call a biscuit, but what do you, wait, this must be an American. What we call a cookie, you call a biscuit. What we call a biscuit, you call what? It's a bit of a riddle, that one. Basically, and I think everyone will agree with me here, a cookie is like chocolate chip and everything else is a biscuit. Digestive, biscuit. Custard cream, biscuit. Bourbon, biscuit. Chips Ahoy, cookie. And then people are freaking out about what's a digestive? Don't even get me started on American biscuits. So it's a scone with butter. Why are laundry appliances in the kitchen? Fantastic question, because I had the same one. So it always seemed weird to me because I just think, don't come for me yet, I might be reformed, you don't know, hold up. So I always thought food mixing with your clothing in like a damp, like musty kind of smell was kind of gross, and that's where my head used to be at, because the laundry always smells gross. And now I have a washing machine in my bathroom, which I really like. However, you guys have told me that like I shouldn't have that in there, like it should be illegal because I think you're not meant to have power outlets. But I think the power is like, because of the wall, it's actually like in the kitchen, like it's technically kitchen plug. But anyways, I don't know how they've done it, but I have a washing machine in the bathroom and it's great. So I've now, like, I just think I hate the idea of a laundry room, and I'm sure you guys probably have it. Obviously, being in London, I don't. However, I just think laundries are such a waste of good real estate. Like, that's a room I could use. So no. We utilize all square footage of our properties. Laundry is boring. No one likes to go in there. I don't want to have a room I don't like going into. So, hot take, my laundry, I'm gonna put my washing machine in the kitchen because then I can take my clothes outside to dry because the kitchen is at the back. But obviously, not everyone's kitchen's near the back door. So, that's my hot take. The internet says that a lot of UK houses had outhouses, which is like a shed, so that then they built the houses around it, so they just had the plumbing in an outbuilding, which is where they had all of the plumbing, including the washing machine. They said there's a question here about accents and how fast they change when you travel, because a lot of foreigners will think Southern English is easier to understand accent-wise, and then you get further up and then you get to Glasgow, and that's probably the hardest UK accent to understand. I do love me a Glaswegian, so give me a thumbs up if you're Glaswegian, I love it. I think Scots have the best sense of humour in all of the UK, but I don't know the answer to that. Maybe you can tell me, how fast does it change? I think my general rule of thumb, because no one really knows where the north actually starts, like Midlands, do they exist? No one knows. My rule of thumb is I'm in the north when people start saying hiya. So like H-I-Y-A, like hiya. So you walk into like a hotel and they're like, hiya, you alright? And that's when I'm in the north. I'm actually in Birmingham, but it's like the friendliness of hiya. Someone said, what's the proper use of the phrase Bob's your uncle? Like, what does it mean? And I'm like, Bob's your uncle. It's like, the Australian translation for that is she'll be right. She'll be right. There, Bob's your uncle, she'll be right. There you go. There's an interesting question here. It says, is the stereotype true that British people refuse to discuss their struggles with mental health due to strong cultural taboo? Now, I find this interesting just because I feel like there's two extremes, and this isn't an age thing in the slightest. I find there's like the like stern, I'm not talking about my feelings at all people, and then there's like the oversharers that are like, my dog died today and I've got depression. You know, like, which, you know, I think I actually like lead towards the bottling bit than the oversharing. Unless now, you know, sometimes I'm an overshare. Depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes I just don't care. Because I've worked in so much customer service during my life that like, I just feel the silence and I will just keep talking. And because I work in like healthcare, I have no filter now. Like, I've talked to like so many things just casually about people's health and like different statistics and studies about blah blah blah, and like people would normally like blush and I'm like, oh no, particularly when you talk fertility, I'll be like, let's get to details. And they're like so yeah, I've turned out to have no filter, but I do think you get like the eccentric Brits who just like all out. I stayed in a bed and breakfast with someone from Cornwall, like it was the woman owned the house in Cornwall and I was in her bed, like it was an Airbnb room. This is sounding weirder than it was. And she was just like into politics and conspiracies and and like where her whole life and where she used to holiday, and like she told me everything. And then obviously you talk to some Brits and it's like they don't tell you anything. It's just, you alright? Good, okay, bye. And then they leave. So it is truly hit and miss, and I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you who it is. Perhaps even the older people are more likely to overshare than the young people. Who knows? Are you an oversharer or do you bottle it? You tell me. There's a funny one. It says, what are you doing to keep the Queen alive this long? And then the response was, it's the collective will of the people who can't stand Charles. Are they wrong though? Are they wrong? Love the Queen. Ooh, my favourite. Do you have a favourite panel show? I fucking love panel shows. You know that. Panel shows are my jam. They mentioned Would I Lie to You, which is 10 out of 10. obviously David Mitchell is life because of Peep Show and just in general. I can't remember if I've told you this. I think I may have mentioned it, but honestly this year's been a blur. I have marathoned, English is hard sometimes. I have marathoned Taskmaster. Why can't I talk today? I have marathon Taskmaster this whole lockdown. So that's 10 seasons of like 8 episodes. So it's a lot, but you know, I had free time. So Taskmaster, if you haven't seen it, 10 out of 10. There's a really good board game for it. That's my fave. That's probably the only one I watch religiously, you know. It's so good. Little Alex Horn. Also, Greg Davies is just the best. Can anyone truly say, I ate spotted dick with a straight face? Absolutely not. No one can. It's the law. Do you get offended when people try and do a British accent? Truly hope not, because I'm always doing one. I think everyone, unless it's, you know, offensive, like racially offensive, like you're doing it in a mocking way, I think most people just kind of roll their eyes. Like I see a lot of people trying to do Australian accents, and like it's a hard accent. I think people can't do it. You just gotta like make it melody, like True Blue. That's my imitation of an Australian accent, which I think I'm falling into like a transatlantic accent now, so it's not quite British, but it's, you know, not quite, it's definitely not American, but it's not Australian now either. So I went and saw a theatre show for my birthday last year. I was so lucky to get time for my birthday. And it was drag queens, and they had Courtney Act, who's a drag queen in Australia, and she was in it, and I saw it with some friends, and I was like, tell me I don't sound like her. Like, I love her, but her accent's like, you know, it's like the equivalent of a Cockney, you know what I mean? So that's what she's like, talks like this, look at Moy, True Blue, make it very melodical. What if, is that how I start my videos? I'm like, hi guys. Am I just being this thing of like mocking accents? But it's my own accent, so I don't think it counts. What is it? What do I say? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. That's an Australian accent. So you're welcome. I don't sound like that. Anyways, I hear people doing that all the time, and I just kind of roll my eyes, or I'm like, oh, if they're actually good, I'm like, well done. It's not easy. So I think Brits are the same. I don't think anyone necessarily gets offended if you do a British accent, like, because I think there's so many, so I don't think anyone gets like offended, you know. You can do like the Harry Potter accent, or you could do, you know, your Glaswegian or your Manchesterian. I can't really do it. I can hear the differences of the regions up north, but I can't do the differences. Like, I know Scouse accent and a Brummie accent and like a Newcastle accent, all very different, but I can't physically do them. They all kind of come out Indian, and I don't know why, and then I just stop, because I'm like, that's not what I'm going for. Think we're getting offensive, completely by accident, didn't mean it. The only thing I can do is us, going us and glass and bath, but people do accent. If you can do an accent well, then it's not offensive, isn't it? I won't miss this. My favorite song. Anyways, so yeah, I think people embrace the level of different accents. I think the only way Brits get offended if you do an accent is if you say, oh, I'm doing a British accent, and you only do the Harry Potter accent, and you don't accept that like there's other British accents. Then they get offended, obviously. Is baked beans on toast really a good thing? Absolutely. I haven't had baked beans on toast in ages. Why haven't I had it? It's normally my winter food. I just think my life has been like grey. Just depression. Like, I just feel like nothing. I'm just sitting in like a stasis. Let's bring it back to TV shows, because like, you know, I love British TV. Red Dwarf, you know when he goes in the stasis pod? That's what I feel like my life is. It's just nothingness. Just waiting. I wish it was a stasis pod. So that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comments your thoughts below. Can you answer any of these questions? Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and remember to hit subscribe so I can see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.